Hi, good morning. Welcome to 3E TV. My name is Harin Holgate. I'll be your host for today. I'm sitting in for Margaret and Chuck, who will be back next week. Today, we'll be talking to members of the LGSO student organization here at Purdue. And so I'll just have them introduce themselves and tell us a little bit about their organization.
Thank you, Harin. My name is Alejandra Carrillo Munoz, and I was the former vice president for LGSO and currently the community or the civic engagement chair of the organization.
And my name is Obed Hernandez Gomez. I am the previous president of the LGSO, but now I am the co-chair of the Latino Graduate Student Research Symposium.
Oh, okay. And so what does LGSO mean? Just to get it out there so everyone pretty much knows.
Yeah, LGSO stands for the Latino Graduate Student Organization, and we are an organization of graduate students who are interested in Latino culture. You don't have to be Latino to join LGSO. You just have to be interested in it.
Oh, that's really great. So how big is the organization? Like, how many people do you have right now?
In Boiler Link, we have about 60 members who are registered with the organization, but our events can have drawn up to 60 to 80 people.
Oh.
And then like our formal in terms of like our committee members or our chairs, what we do is because we try and be very holistic in the events that we put on and also participate in, we have, for example, the social chair, the civic engagement, someone who does Fernando's role.
Yeah, social activism.
Social activism. So then we split up the organization in terms of kind of the chairs of that. And then at the end of the day, we all kind of pitch in and help each other out.
Like a big family.
Yeah.
Give me a timeline. When was the organization started?
The organization started sort of about 10 years ago. It was an organization that was funded with the Latino Cultural Center. So it came after the Latino Cultural Center, and they just had their 10-year anniversary about 2 years ago. But it was funded because a group of graduate students of Latino backgrounds wanted to get together. They didn't feel like they could join the Colombian Student Organization or the Puerto Rican Student Organization because they were led by undergrads. And these students wanted to make something that was graduate student specific because we have very different lifestyles than undergrads do. We're busy. We have a lot more in our plates, so we wan't do what undergrads do. But at the same time, we wanted to form an organization where we felt included, and we could, they wanted to, but feel like graduate student needs were being met as well as culture.
Well, speaking of graduate students, I'm also a grad student, so how do you balance that? So being a grad student, running an organization, how do you really strike that balance between the two? Because I'm busy, and you mentioned that you're busy. So how do you find time to plan events and do other things?
I think that's why it being a family is critical, that each person kind of complies with their own responsibilities, and so therefore you kind of split up the task. But I think at the end of the day also it's just one of those things where it forms part of your lifestyle too, because it's nice to be within a group of people that are graduate students like yourself. So we understand the stress of the academic side of things and those responsibilities, but also we take the time and invest the time to engage with the community at large, within Purdue, to engage within ourselves. We have our monthly meetings, so it's also a time like we've become friends as well. So it's kind of like one of those things where we always count on each other, as cheesy as that sounds, but we're always there to kind of help out one another.
Yeah, we're very good at splitting the tasks and making sure that the load on one person is not very heavy. Mm-hmm. Our president, Jesse Miles, our current president, he is great at splitting tasks and making sure that we stay in line. And like Alejandra says, we're a family. We are there to help each other. We also try not to have too many events. Again, we're a graduate student organization, and we have too many events, graduate students are not going to show up.
Yeah, that's true.
So we try to control that and to have whenever we have an event, it's a big event, and it's something that people are going to enjoy.
Yeah.
So what events have you had in the past, and do you have any in line coming up right now?
Well, we've actually had we're beginning new traditions, and we're also kind of sustaining old traditions. So recently, just this year, we had our third annual Tour de Taco. So in the past, what we've done is we've gone around the community, and we are literally this little group that goes from taco shop to taco shop, and we taste one taco each member. So how many people went last year?
30.
Like 30 people. So, and then at the very end, we vote for the kind of Lafayette's best taco.
Cool.
This year we brought it back home to Purdue, and so we just had 5 taco places bring in their food, and then we did the voting again, and then afterwards we kind of had a DJ, and so it's fun. This is all fun, but it's also a way of kind of, for this was like our big social event, and so that way it's kind of like a mixer. This year was great because it was very diverse. We had tons of graduate students that we hadn't even seen last year, and it was also a bigger group, so that was great. But then on top of the social kind of activities that kind of promote culture and just give graduate students a opportunity to socialize, we also do things that are a little bit more academic driven. So
yeah, so like I told you when I introduced myself, I'm the co-chair for the Latino Graduate Student Research Symposium.
Yes.
So what we started last year is we were having monthly meetings where everybody was invited to come and present their research. So maybe you are a new graduate student who has a proposal or an idea on what your project's going to be, and you want to test it out. You want to give a presentation. Maybe you have never given a presentation before, and you want to try it with with friendly people who are not going to raise their hand. So we had these monthly meetings, and it worked great. We presented our research. It was a good practice, but again, we were having too many. So we were having them once a month. So people got busy. Less people attended. So what we decided to do this year is make one big one in February. So instead of having them every month, we're going to have a big one. And it's going to be a half-day thing, and this is coming up the first weekend of February, we hope. And we're actually partnering up with the Latino Cultural Center to do this. We put up a call for abstracts, and the abstracts are due November 21st. And you can find that information on our Facebook account, which is Latino Graduate Student Organization. You can find it. It's kind of like a survey. You click on the website and you submit your abstract there. But we are opening up the opportunity for people to present oral presentations on their research and also do proposals. Posters. And then we have talked about maybe bringing in a speaker to give a talk, like a scientist. But what we are trying to do, and the reason why we did this is because we want to showcase Latinos doing research at Purdue. We want to show the talent of Latino students, graduate students doing the research at Purdue. Because there are so many of us who sometimes fall between the cracks. We don't expose ourselves, but I think it's important for us to show the world and show the Purdue community that Latinos are doing great research, and we're hoping to have a success with that in February.
Oh, that's really good.
And a build-up of that too, one thing that we really want to do as well is strive to make that connection with the community at large. So in order to build up to these type of academic success, we also did it was called the Bridge Program last year. So what we did was we went to Ivy Tech, and we kind of had like a mentorship workshop where a group of the Latino graduate student members went to Ivy Tech within the Hispanic student community. And so these were all students that were interested in either transferring to a four-year institution at some point, or even Purdue perhaps. So what we did is we kind of went in, we had a little bit of an intervention in regard to what are some of the worries, because the other thing too is Latinos have a very strong traditional and cultural background, and so a lot of parents are hesitant about letting their children go, and we've all at some point kind of experienced this. So what better than to share our own experiences with the students? And we also brought in representatives of Purdue from study abroad, from admissions, and so being able to bring some of those resources to them so that they can then begin to think about the process was really good. And our mission is to at least inspire them to some extent so that they can get here and then they can do all these symposiums and great things.
Yeah, great. Yeah. So what do you hope to really contribute to the wider Lafayette community as well as the Purdue community? I know you spoke of doing things like the graduate symposium for graduate students, but do you do anything for the community, West Lafayette or Lafayette, just as a service learning or otherwise?
Yeah, so the Bridge program was one of the major things that we did last year.
Okay.
Sort of the organization was dead for a while and then picked up the year before I became president, ramped up the year I was president. Now it's doing more things. So we're hoping to do that. So one of our aims is to spread our cultural awareness, you know, to showcase what being a Latino is, and that's one of the things that we try to do. So another thing that we did last year and the year before, last year we weren't that involved, but the year before we collaborated with the Engineering Global program, or Global Engineering program, to form the International Cultural Cookout, or a Latino International Cultural Cookout, where we got money from GSOGA and the Global Engineering program to kind of cook, you know, foods of Latino origin, and have all these Latino organizations get together and cook them themselves. So the Colombian student organization took on to make Colombian food.
Great.
But at the same time, we had an education component where these cultures or cultural groups were showcasing their culture. They were teaching people about culture. We had dancing, we had posters. I mean, and that was a great way to show the community, because everybody was invited, and this was an event that was donation, right? So you could come in and eat for free. That we were, you know, that Latino food is not just tacos and burritos, like many people think. You know, Latino food is more than that, and it's very diverse, and the diversity is beautiful, and it's interesting to explore it, and people came and enjoyed it, and it was a great success. Last year, we did it in Memorial Mall, so we had just people who were walking by could get a taste, and it was more inclusive, so it was global instead of just being Latino oriented.
Okay, well, great. Thank you for that. We'll take a break right now, and then we'll come back and hear some more.
Perfect.
We are all Boilermakers, but we're also much more. We're history makers, exploring the farthest reaches of our universe, often when strapped to a rocket. We are hope makers, rebuilders of Haitian cityscapes who ensure they'll now withstand any disaster. We are difference makers, developers of drought-resistant crops that just might end world hunger. The fact is, what we make moves the world forward. We are Purdue, makers all.
Welcome back. Again, I'm Horin Holgate, sitting in for Margaret and Chuck. With me are Ale and Obed from the Latino Government Graduate Student. Yeah, sorry. LGSO. Yeah, that's easier, right? Yeah. And just to follow up on our what we were talking about previously. So tell me about how the organization has really evolved since its inception.
Well, one of the president before Obed is the one that he's actually really mentored us a lot, especially when he was president, I was vice president, because he has a lot of insight. He's been here a little longer. In fact, he's the one that's been here the longest. So he always talks about the organization and how it's greatly evolved in terms of how small it was, how challenging it was for, it was around 3 to 4 people for a while, that it just got that small, that it was putting on events was just such a great challenge and such a struggle. And I know when they recruited me to be part of the organization, they were really cool about it. They were kind of just like friends, and they said, okay, can we schedule a meeting? I'd like to talk to you at Starbucks or something. So we did that, and it was more one of those things where it's like, it's no pressure. This is what we're doing, this is what we're a part of, this is what we're involved. If you'd like to be part of this, just come to our events. And so they were just really warm and welcoming about it. And I think those two members, that was Jorge Alfonso and Fernando Tormos, really did a great job of kind of pushing it forward, so that when we then, I got involved as a social chair, for example, at that point, and then we became kind of the leaders of the organization. At that point, we were very grateful to have it already have been built up, and hopefully, this isn't the end of it. We've been recruiting and really trying to get our membership a little broader, because it's always good. Like in our case, we all have different backgrounds, and I think that's one of the biggest assets. We have creative people, we have scientists, we have a little bit of everything, and that just makes us more well-rounded, and also connects us better with the Purdue community.
Yeah,
That's
and
really great.
you can really see it in the Tour de Taco. Fernando also mentioned this, and how it's been transformed. The first time, it was just a group of people who just decided to go out for tacos and taste the different tacos, you know. So it was just kind of like people hanging out. But now it's just become such a formal event where we have tickets, we have a DJ come and play, we bring the tacos to school. So it's something more organized and that people enjoy, because we were able to. We sold out within like 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh.
This is like 2 weeks before the event. People were still asking for tickets, and we're like, sorry guys,
So be on the lookout.
yeah. So our events are starting to pick up, and we're becoming our name is becoming to be well known throughout campus. That when
great.
we host an event, it's something cool, and even like the Purdue Graduate Student Government. Named us and the Black Graduate Student Organization as the two organizations who are the most active. So we tied with them as most active. They gave us an office space in the Graduate Student Leadership Center now,
Great.
in our own storage, because we showed that we deserved it. That we're out there doing stuff. So
And present. I think more than anything, it's also just kind of being present
Present.
and going against kind of those stereotypes and hiding away and just exposing ourselves openly, and also just being a part of not just our group, but something bigger than us.
I think one of the good things about your organization is that you're very open. So some other organizations might just be, for their own ethnic group, but you guys are really open to others. Do you work with specific faculty as advisors or things like that?
yes. So last year, Elena Benedicto, she's a professor in the English department. Linguistics was our advisor. She was very great, very motivated. And then this year we have Susan Prieto Welsh, who is the director of the CAP Center at PUSH, right?
Yeah.
At the Purdue University Student Health Center. So yes, our advisors have been awesome. They've been leading it. We've had extreme support from them. Before them, it was the Latino Cultural Center, who was our advisor. The people involved there were very, very involved in our organization. But we are nestled within the OCC, and like you said, we are very welcoming. We keep the tradition that the OCC keeps. Their motto is everybody's welcome, and we are the same. I want to make this clear that we're a Latino interest organization. Everybody's welcome. Yeah.
Oh, great. So it's really open. So how do you see the organization, given all that you've gone through over the years, the struggles of low membership, and then you're back up now tied with the Black Cultural Center, which is really awesome. How do you see the organization progressing into the future?
Well, one of the things that because every student organization faces challenges, and it's just part of being involved. But one of the challenges that we've kind of seen is there's this separation within even Latinos, and maybe this goes across other nationalities as well. But so there's a little bit of a gap between those who are international Latinos here on campus and those who say are American Latinos or Chicanos. So there's a little bit of a gap there, and we're very curious as to why this is the case. We'd like to kind of bridge that gap and make it a little bit more so that we're all interacting, because the other challenge too is each kind of country, for example, has their own organization. Yeah, and so a lot of times they prefer to be a part of that, or they're just busy. That happens too. They can only commit to so much. And so if they're already a part of one organization, it's hard for them to commit to something else. But that's something that definitely, even going back to our advisors, have been great in trying to bridge that, because they recognize it and see it as well. And I think moving forward, that's kind of one of those things where we kind of want to or improve, and I think we're getting there, but it's definitely one of those things that
Taking
it's time. Yeah, absolutely.
I think like Ale is saying, I think LGSO should move on to be an umbrella organization that encompasses all Latino groups, that everybody can be welcome, and that it can be a tool for all these organizations to do something on campus, like to get things done at a greater scale.
Oh, that's really great. So you guys seem to be, you have a plan, and you're
we have a vision.
A vision, and that's key. That's key.
Yeah.
That's really key. And so being a part of the organization, if I decided to join, I know you guys, obviously you guys have had great benefits from that. So just give us an overview of how it has helped you grow as a student, as an international student, or as a Latino. Or if I came to the organization as someone of a different nationality, how would that actually help me grow as a student and otherwise?
Okay, so coming from any any place, whether it's within America or from another country, you always get a culture shock when you move into it. I moved here from Texas, so to me it was very different, but it might not be as bad as somebody coming from Ecuador or Mexico. So what LGSO does and what it helped me, it was sort of like a buffer. In which I had a place where I felt welcome, and I saw so much diversity that I felt special as well, right? Because I was adding to that diversity. At the same time, it provides me an opportunity to get involved in community service, because we do community service. Mm-hmm. It provides me an opportunity to practice my research, because we have all these events where we can present our research in a friendly environment. It provides me an opportunity to meet other Latinos, which is to me extremely important. And every time that we have an event, I think I meet more and more Latinos, and I'm more happy because I feel more like home. Just because I have people who are like me, because in my department, I probably have 3 or 2, but that's it, So it's pretty nice to have that welcoming environment where diversity exists and I can feel like home. And then I also accomplish other things like leadership and community service and all these other things that LGSO has done for me.
Mm-hmm. And I think just also, in a wider perspective, it's also just we still see a little bit of racism, or again, like I mentioned earlier, like stereotypes, and just kind of breaking that a little bit and just getting yourself out there. And I think the more we expose ourselves to different cultures and I guess we don't just kind of advocate for our organization, but other cultural organizations on campus, just being a part of that, being aware there are different people with different perceptions that have different backgrounds. It just makes you better to engage with those types of people, and that's what we're in a world that we are diverse, and that's just it's a really nice thing, and we're at a university that's very diverse. So why not take advantage of not just LGSO, but the many and vast organizations that we have on campus.
Well, it's really great. He mentioned something that's really, I'm an international student as well, and that's really good for me to have actually sort of a safe haven somewhere like your home away from home.
Right.
So that's really good.
Yeah.
Just one challenge that you experienced, one each that you experienced while being here, and how you overcame. Anyone can go first. Yeah, just one challenge, either as a grad student, otherwise.
I think one of my biggest challenges was moving, 1,600 miles from home and being by myself. Okay. I am a very social person, and my first semester here, I didn't feel like I was getting that. And I didn't become heavily involved with LGSO until the semester after I got here. Okay. So to me, that was a personal struggle. And also, like I mentioned before, culture shock was very big for me. So I can say that's one thing and that I've overcome, because now I'm surrounded by these awesome people that, I met through LGSO. So, yeah.
That's great.
Well, I have an art and design background, and that's where I come from. I come from an art school, and then to arrive to an engineering school, that was a huge cultural shock in another sense, right? But again, I think it's being able to meet more people and seeing that there are ways to combine, the humanities with the sciences, and being exposed to different approaches and how people are handling that. I think that's really kind of helped me as well, and not just feel belittled.
Oh, great. Well, we really appreciate you spending time to talk with us today. I really learned a lot about the organization, and viewers watching would actually benefit from what you guys talked about today. Mention again your upcoming event that's coming up.
Yeah, so November 21st, we have the abstracts due for, if you're interested in presenting your research at the Latino Graduate Student Symposium. And then the abstracts are due November 21st, and the symposium should happen the first weekend of February.
And where do we go to register?
You can find us at Facebook. Just type Purdue Latino Graduate Student Organization.
Or an
and
LCC
search us,
website.
or to the LCC website, and then you can see the link for the Qualtrics survey that you can click and submit the abstract.
Oh, great. Well, thank you.
Thank you.